Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm starting a Halloween-y project, which is not really a big thing in Australia, but I will take any excuse to make a costume, even if I have nowhere to wear it. So the inspiration for this costume, which I have dubbed the Fairy Gourd Mother, gourd as in pumpkin, of course, comes from this fabric. I got this fabric years ago in a charity shop, and since then I've had the plan to turn it into a Victorian-ish Halloween gown with the biggest skirt I possibly can. However, before I start the gown for this, I need to make some undergarments. My fairy godmother can't go around half dressed, so let's make some pumpkin underwear. First up is the chemise. I actually want to recreate this one. It's the perfect layer for going under skirts or dresses, and I wear this all the time. It comes from this pattern, which is Simplicity 1139. So if you want to make your own, you absolutely can. I get a lot of compliments every time I wear this, and I very much recommend it for all whimsical wardrobes. I've been planning to make another one for ages because I do wear it all the time, and I need them in every color. So this one is going to be in black. I have this black cotton that is super lightweight. I don't think I actually have enough here to make the full chemise. I only have 1.8 meters here, but I think it will work well as a shorter blouse also to go under a dress like this. So that's the chemise. Now this project is not a historical reproduction. I am not trying to be accurate in any way, shape or form. Not that I normally am, but this one especially not. But I do want some bloomers for this look, although they're going to be more of the overly puffy pumpkin pant type bloomer. I'm going to use this pattern, Simplicity 8719, and I'm just using the bloomer pattern in here. For the fabric, I have this green faux suede. It's nice and light, so hopefully the puffy pants won't droop too much. We'll see. And finally, no lady is properly dressed without her corset, and my fairy godmother is absolutely a lady. So I'm going to make this corset because I've made it a couple of times before and I really like the fit of it. This is Simplicity 8363. It's one of their Firefly Path collaborations, and it just makes a beautiful shaped corset. And for fabric, to bring in some orange, I'm going to use this orange upholstery velvet. And that's the foundational layers to my fairy godmother. Let's get to making her. Chemise all cut out. I actually got more chemise body length than I thought I would. It should be probably about knee length. And this is all I have left from cutting it all out, and my yoke pieces are actually cut out of just some plain black cotton because I wasn't going to get both of them out of these scraps. But I do think that this is the yoke part here, so it sort of holds the whole thing together, and I think it's fine that that is out of a sturdier fabric. So now I can start putting it together, but I am going to do it a little differently, and I'm going to do French seams. This pattern does have 1.5 seam allowance built into the pattern pieces, so that generally works out pretty well to do a French seam if you just stitch at 6 mil, turn it 6 mil again, and it generally works out pretty well, especially for this sort of garment that doesn't have much fittedness to it. It's fine. So let's put this together. main body is now together. That's just lots of long straight seams. Done twice because I decided to French seam it, but that is now ready for sleeves, which I'm going to work on next. My sleeves are done and ready to be attached to the bodice now. One thing I am doing differently with this black one than I did with this first white one is it has this facing piece in the underarm area. And I don't know that it does anything except for adding bulk. I remember being very confused about why and how to put it in when I first made this. And having worn it now for a couple of years, I still don't think it really needs this facing, and I didn't have enough fabric to cut out the facings. I'm just going to omit it because the seam that it covers I can turn into a French seam anyway, and there shouldn't be any issues with that. Sleeves are in. Now I'm going to work on the yoke pieces, putting them together, attaching the lace, and then attaching them to this so it becomes something a little more my size. So let's get to making the yoke. The yoke is on and finished. It's got its buttons and lace detail. I really like the colorway of this one. This black feels very dramatic. I'm excited to wear it. The last thing that I need to do is the hem of this. It is quite uneven because these are the side panels, which I was able to get the full length of the pattern piece out, whereas the main body, I didn't have quite enough fabric to go that full length, so it's missing this much. So I'm going to even it out, make it all the same length. And then because it is that much shorter than the pattern says it should be, I'm just going to do a small double roll hem to finish it off. That's the chemise all finished. Now that I've seen this in black, I really want to go through and make it in all colors I possibly can. It's just such a nice pattern. It feels elegant but whimsical but cottagecore. It's just perfect. I love it so much. Now that it's done, I'm going to move on and do the bloomers. So I might change the pattern a little bit by just making the pants wider. I want extra fabric. This is what the pattern looks like, and I think I'm gonna just use this fold here and add in, I don't know how much, maybe like 5 inches right into the middle and just make them extra puffy. Bloomers cut out. This should be a really easy and simple make. All I've got to do is obviously put some legs together, and then the waistband just gets a channel through which I'll thread some elastic to gather that down, and then the bottom hem gets these leg bands, and that's all there is to it. Bloomers are coming together. The top waistband is all finished. Now the leg hems are supposed to have this solid interfaced band to finish them off. However, I think for the puffy effect that I want, finishing the leg hems the same way that I've done the waist might be the best way to do it. Using an elastic band in the bottom here means I'll better be able to control the puffiness and where it sits on my leg, because I can hike up an elastic thing to sit higher on my leg or pull it down to sit lower, whereas a solid non-stretchy cuff is a lot harder to move around. So yes, I'm going to finish my leg hems with some elastic. My bloomers are done, or perhaps more accurately, knickerbockers. I feel like they're giving more of a knickerbocker vibe. They're hilarious and I love them. Now I'm going to move on to the last item in these under things, which is the corset. Corset pieces all cut. My goodness, is this stiff, sturdy fabric. Cutting through 2 layers was hard work. Now I'm going to stitch it all together, and then each seam I'm going to open out and stitch again so that it will be the boning channels. And hopefully I can get it smoothly around these curves, because this fabric is really not very movable. Main seams of this corset bodice are all done, and I have stitched down the seam allowance to form boning channels. Before I put the boning in though, I'm going to bind this top edge. This fabric was friendlier than I thought going around corners, but I don't think I'm going to have any luck trying to use it as a binding material. So instead I have a whole lot of black bias binding, so I'm going to use this. And I'm going to do the top edge first, because I think this deeper swoop in the center front is going to be harder to do if there was boning in it, whereas the bottom edge is a bit straighter. It does have that point at center front, but I think that will be less fiddly to wrangle through the machine once it's got boning in it than this center front dip. So let's bind this top. Bones are all in, it's nice and springy now. I've also done the grommet so I can lace it up. Last thing to do is bind off the bottom. corset is finished. All that's left is to lace up the back and then try everything on all together. Hopefully it looks pumpkin-y and gives Halloween. Let's go. Ta-da! Pumpkin underwear. It's even more fun than I thought it would be. I love how this all looks together. The puffy pants are the best, especially once you tuck the chemise into them and it gives them a bit more volume. Hilarious. I love it. This is basically a Halloween costume in itself. I don't even need to make the overdress. I want everyone to see this outfit. I am still going to make the overdress. I am. But I'm really happy with this outfit. And this chemise. I love this chemise. I have loved the white version for many years now, but oh, the black, it's just so dramatic. I love it. I'm gonna wear this so much. Not just for costume purposes, for everyday wear. The corset, perhaps not everyday wear. But I do love a corset, and when it's velvet, it's even better. But for now, it is time to move on from the under things and start figuring out the overdress. So thanks for being here this week, and come back next week for that. Bye!